Good day, everyone. How are you? Oh my goodness. Hey, Antoine, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Soldier Boy is outside my window. Superman, that thing, somebody.
Hey, listen, we got to crank that. We got to get some energy going. So that's all right. That's not a bad song to get, get the energy
it's
flowing.
it's not. I can't control it though. I hear it out there. They on a motorcycle too. He got some sounds on the motorcycle. Shoot.
Oh yeah, the motorcycle, it's not enclosed, so it sound a little bit louder than the cars do. So
Man, definitely, definitely. Well, how are you doing today?
Thursday, it's a good day. I'm feeling good.
It is Thankful Thursday. That is so true. Mm. Well, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Makeba. I am the one who Antoine put in charge of creating that Eventbrite invitation to pull everybody into into this space to teach you about selling your home, getting it prepared, and getting qualified to be someone to receive that 100% financing. However, he's able to put the layers of other people's money together to get you financed for your home. So I'm the one that's been sending you the emails and all of those wonderful things. I would be the one to take you out to see your houses. And Antoine is the gentleman that is going to, he's the money man. So I have been a licensed real estate professional since 2018. I love it. I love assisting people with achieving their goals of home ownership, whether they are um, transitioning from one phase of life to another, which a lot of people do. I mean, we all do as we continue to live. There's several phases. I know you guys are familiar with Erica Badu. Next lifetime. She didn't mean reincarnation. She just meant you starting over from something. It's empty nesters. It's divorces. There's losses. There's several reasons for us to change our living situations. Whether you're a homeowner and you need to upsize, downgrade, move further away from the city, closer to the city, whatever those reasons may be, as a real estate professional, I'm here to be your guide, to be the person that is the resource, to bounce ideas off of, and we brainstorm together to figure out the best way to get you from point A to point B. Antoine, the microphone is yours.
Yeah, well, good evening. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Glad to be with everyone on the call here. I'm Antoine Butler. Mortgage banker, I think, is my official title. Um, my job is to help you. It's real simple. Help you get money so you can buy your house. That's the simplest version. So I really kind of walk you through the process, help you determine what you qualify for, help you take advantage of any programs, any assistance, any things that are out there to help make your home buying process a little bit easier from a financial standpoint. So, I kind of navigate from start to finish in terms of helping you know what you got to pay, how much money you need, and then, getting you at the closing table. So, we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight, but I'm glad to be with you all.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I see Max in the chat. Max, would you let us know where you are tuning in from? And Joy, I see you there as well. Where are you tuning in from?
Also, I guess I'll give a little bit of my background. I won't date myself, but lifetime banker. So out of college, I've only worked in banks professionally, and I moved into the mortgage side of the bank in 2015. So I'm approaching maybe 10 years, specifically concentrating on mortgage lending. And then prior to that, retail banking. You walk into the banking center, you see me and my team in there doing all the stuff that you do in the banking center. So, a lot has changed in the financial world, and every other day there's some new regulations and some new guidelines that we have to stay upon. So keeps us on our toes. A lot of reading and
Yeah.
a lot of guidelines. but it's there, they're in place to protect the consumer. So it's not a bad thing. It's really just understanding the game and knowing how to navigate those waters. So.
Definitely. Neither of us look good in stripes, so we don't want to go to real estate jail, mortgage jail. We're reading, we're watching videos, we're taking courses and keeping our clients well informed. That's why, it's best to have a professional. Like everybody has their own profession. You're the expert in your area, and that is what we are in ours. Hey, Beverly, how are you doing? Please let us know where you are tuning in from. And also, would you let us know if you are homeowners and if you are currently renting? All right, can you see my screen?
I can see it.
You can. Do you see me?
I see you. I see the screen. I see that nice modern home there. It's a nice home.
It is. I don't know where that house is, but right now it's on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
And we are thankful to have it in that space. So this is basically a 60-day home selling plan, a step-by-step guide. Okay, Beverly in Stone Mountain. Okay, good. Yes. I'm looking forward to our conversation soon. So preparing for anything in life, you need a plan. A lot of people use several different resources to make that plan happen. And we're just thankful that you have come to the professionals to see what it is that we're suggesting to be done. And so this again is a 60-day plan. So at the beginning of your plan, you are going to want to, if you're a pen and a paper or somebody who likes to do things digitally, we want to sit down and define what your goals are, what your timeline is. Do some research in the market, select a real estate professional. And some people like to get their home appraised by a professional. We as real estate agents, we have access to the same information that the appraiser does. And just because you've paid an appraiser to come out and price what they think your home is worth in the current market, when it's time for the bank to send someone out to share that appraisal information, it could be slightly different. So an appraisal is not anything that you have to do, but some of my sellers like to go ahead and make that investment. So it just depends on the type of individual they are. They want to see the numbers and reinforce what it is that they see. And so, of course, after you've determined your timeline, and again, we're focusing on 60 days, you've sat down, you've decided what it is that you actually want to do. We've had a conversation in regards to the best way to make that happen. And I'm checking in with you as we are continuing to have the conversation moving forward. I have your timeline as well. I'm checking in as your accountability partner, to make sure that we have the path that we needed necessary to make the plan happen. And so we are decluttering and deep cleaning. And I need my sellers to know that the eyes that you want to have as you're selling your home are the same eyes you want to have as you're looking at purchasing someone else's home. So when you go into someone else's home, those personal pictures that they have, a lot of suggestions many times are to get the paraphernalia off the walls in regards to political things, religious things, even athletic things. It's really interesting. People want to be able to see themselves in your home. And you're moving. So as you're moving, you want to make sure that you're packing. Some people have lived in their home for years, so purging is necessary. Sometimes you have to have a yard sale or two. Sometimes you want to donate things, but you want to make sure that you're packing up for your move because, again, we want people to be able to see themselves in your home, which means that we're depersonalizing things. And also you're packing because you're moving. So we want to be mindful of that. If you have pets, you want to make sure that you're deodorizing your home. If you have carpet and you've been smoking or someone's been smoking or there have been years of living in the house, you know, making sure that you're deep cleaning. So when people enter your home, those smells aren't offensive to them because a lot of times we don't smell them because we're in them. Okay. And so week 5 and 6. So we've determined at the beginning of our conversation whether you're going to do any repairs, any renovations. Of course, when you do repairs and renovations, you are able to keep more of the equity in your home. It adds to the equity in your home or the value of your home when you're upgrading your home versus your house was built 20 years ago and it still looks that way. So, you know, we call that dated, you know, and when your home is dated, we're going to go pull the comps. You know, I'm going to let you see what homes like yours look like. I'm going to let you see what homes that have upgraded look like and what homes who have neglected, homeowners who have neglected their home, what those look like as well. And then you're going to make an executive decision on where you think your house is now and the investments that you're choosing to make or not make. And we see that there's a return of investment, a very high return of investment. It's pretty surprising, you know, what those numbers are. But a garage door, replacing your garage door, of course, if it's damaged, but replacing the garage door is 194% return on investment. Putting a wooden deck in your home is a significant amount of investment as well. 83% investment. Of course, bathroom and kitchen remodels, those always do well. And when you're remodeling and doing improvements to your home, you want to remember that these improvements are based on what current buyers like, not what you like, regards to painting and, of course, any of the traditional upgrades in the house. You know, we want to keep that in mind that this home was lived in and loved by you and you created many memories here, but we want to get the house prepared for the next person who is going to live in the home. And so staging and curb appeal. So as we are purging, packing, giving things away, we are also rearranging furniture if there's not a budget to have a stager come in. You'd be surprised how more inviting a home is just by simply rearranging your furniture, opening the windows, removing blinds, you know, things of that nature, changing the lighting. If you have a very vibrant paint color, you know, we like to take it more neutral. And then my part in this, of course, after we've had several conversations, continue to stay on top of the things that need to be done to get your home ready. I'm going to have a professional photographer come in and we're going to prep, make sure that everything is out of the way. You'd be surprised when I've gone into homes or even seen pictures in MLS that agents have uploaded. I've seen pictures of dirty diapers on tables of picture. I mean, it's like really insane to me. I've seen people cutting the grass in pictures on the MLS. I'm like, what in the world? What was this agent thinking? But that is my area of expertise. So I am there when the photographer is there. And if I see things out of place, there are things that, you know, you just don't think about as a seller of a home. Just rearranging things and moving them around and making them more presentable, like putting the toilet seat down in the bathroom or making sure the window shades are up to project more light in the home. The marketing strategy is very important. You know, a lot of us are shopping online for everything from A to Z, Amazon. They're going to sell houses soon. Look. But we're shopping online, and that is where most people find their homes. So I'm making sure that all of the very important information, those things that stand out about your home and about your neighborhood, I share those online. I am connected with a collective of 350 plus agents here in Metro Atlanta and actually across the country. And people are relocating all the time. And we like to share off-market property. So off-market would mean that you would, we have 2 more weeks until your house actually hits the market. So there's a lot of opportunity for us to even get an offer on your home before we actually put it on the market. But just making sure that visually your home is appealing for buyers, and also the words that are shared are very important. So the pricing strategy, again, we are going to make sure that your home doesn't help sell your neighbor's home, which means if your house is overpriced for the condition that it is in, it is going to sit a while. You know, people like to purchase those homes that are brand new, hot on the market with a pretty bow on it. People want to see those homes when they are released on the market. And we want to make sure that your home is priced properly. Homes that actually are priced a little lower than the market states that a house should be listed for tend to get a lot more eyes on it. And that's when the negotiation process begins. We would prefer to have a few offers versus no offers. So we want to be strategic when we price your home. The thing about it is, if you have your home on the market with no showings, or if you have no showings and no offers, then we know for sure that the home is overpriced. And those are conversations that we have, you know, because I am your resource. I can only suggest what it is that I feel like we should list your home for, but the person who makes the executive decision is you. And if I see that, you know, you're choosing to price your home a little higher, we'll have the conversation about, okay, now after 3 days with no showings, or 3 showings and no offers, then we need to have the conversation about pricing the home properly before it gets a bad cloud of something is wrong with this house on it. Because if a house is perfectly priced for the condition that it is in, it is not going to sit for a long time. And then managing the showings, of course, making sure that everything is, we have the house on the market. We've had the conversation about when we're going to list the home. And typically when I list the home, I like to list the home on the MLS on Thursday. And we're allowed 21 days prior to that to put your home in a coming soon status. So coming soon means all of the real estate agents can see. So they let their clients know, hey, Beverly's house is Makeba. They won't see Beverly. Makeba has a client that is has a house in Stone Mountain. She has a few pictures up. Oh my goodness, it's going to be live. I think, let me give her a call, you know. So that's when the frenzy begins for those perfect homes for buyers, especially in a specific price range. A lot of brand new buyers are typically pre-approved for a price range 300-ish, definitely between 3 and 4, sometimes less than that. So those homes and those price points are houses that people are very interested in. And so Thursday is when we put your house on the market. Saturday and Sunday is when we have open houses, which means for a certain specific time period, agents will be allowed to bring their buyers in. And then usually I like to let them know that you and I, once people put in offers, we are going to look at those offers, see which ones make the most sense, and make a decision on Monday. So they'll see the houses live on Thursday, but they won't officially be able to step foot in the house until the open house. And then of course we go ahead and open up the traditional showings. And so when the offers come in, we have a conversation. I create a spreadsheet so you can see which offer looks like what in comparison to other offers. Somebody might offer over asking, but then they need assistance with down payment, or somebody is offering what it is that you're asking for, and there's a whole bunch of other things that they need to have done. So again, the executive decision is yours, and just because someone shared an offer with you, we have the opportunity to counter offer. So if the price that they're sharing with you is not what you want, or what they're asking is too much, then we go ahead and counter offer that with them. And so once we have once we're under contract and we've had all of the negotiation between us and the other agent, we've accepted the terms for their offer, then we go ahead and begin the official process, which means that other people are significantly involved in regards to the closing attorney. We let the other agents whose clients put in offers know that an offer has been accepted, but something I like to definitely do is to get a backup offer. So just in case something happens, then we have another potential buyer, if they're still available, to go ahead and put in an offer for your home. And so, of course, after all of the negotiation in regards to any repairs that need to be made after they have a home inspector come in, then those things would be happening. They would have a mortgage professional, whether they were paying cash, that side of the process would be happening as well. So we would be in, well, myself and their attorney, the closing attorney, the lender, we would all be in constant communication with one another to make sure that we would make it to the closing table in the shortest period of time, of course, with the most amount of money, if it is making sense for you. Then they schedule the final walkthrough. The final walkthrough, the home is to be broom swept clean with all of your things removed from the home. Typically, that's the morning of or the day before, depending on when you as a homeowner have vacated the property. I have situations where I have had storage containers on the driveway, and the client said, my things aren't in the house. So being in a real estate relationship with a real estate professional that is doing all of their due diligence, because the agent was on vacation, she didn't actually go to the house and do her final walkthrough with her client, because I would have told my client, this is not on the property. This is still part of the property. I had a walkthrough not too long ago. This family had been on this land for almost 40 years. They had a barn, and Joy went with me. They had a second level on their barn, and I had to use my selfie stick because I was walking by and I saw something to the back of the barn. They had pushed the belongings that they had that were raggedy, torn down. It was a mess. They ended up having 3 truckloads of items removed from the home. And my client would have been very unhappy. And also the agent in that instant, he didn't do a final walkthrough either. So it's very important, whatever side that you're on, the buyer side or the seller side, to make sure that you have a real estate professional that has your best interests at heart. Antoine, what do you have to share as the mortgage professional? Let me stop sharing my screen.
For sellers, really, I'll just talk briefly about, being prepared for the next phase, right? So I think the first slide was talking about planning and timing. And, back a few years back when homes were just flying off the shelves and we couldn't, we had to fight to get an offer in because everybody was buying and the rates were low and it was crazy. You'd put your house on the market today and it'd be gone, or you'd have 20 offers tomorrow. And, sellers were taking advantage of the market. However, some of them failed to plan because they saw the numbers and they were like, whoa, I can make how much to sell my home? and they look up and they have to be out of the house in 30 days because they've entered a contract and they hadn't really thought about where am I going when I leave here. And so, I had several sellers who ended up, having to do temporary housing, which, at that time they were making so much money, it probably didn't matter. But, moving is a huge task, and, I'd rather move once than move twice. And so, preparing for your next move in terms of if you are selling a house and your next phase is, buying another house, whether you're in some of those life stages that Makeba mentioned, you're upsizing or downsizing or, relocating for work or love or whatever the case may be, knowing what your purchasing power is before you get too deep into the selling process is helpful, because I mentioned earlier how things have changed drastically. And so the prices of homes, the mortgage process, getting qualified. I talked to a lot of clients who have bought homes in 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and they're just almost bewildered at, oh my God, I have to do what? And you're asking me questions of, and so they're like, last time I bought a house, and I'm like, well, when did you buy a house? Several years ago. The process was similar, but it was a little different. So as early in the process as you can, secure your financing. If your next phase is buying a home, that is just going to help relieve some of that, the pressure and the stress of making that next move, because things have changed. Unless you bought a house in the last 30 days, I can guarantee you something looks a little different than it did 30 days ago, whether it be the rates that are changing or some of the guidelines or the documents and information you have to submit. So really, my advice is, as you're planning to move and planning to sell, let's get you pre-qualified. Let's figure out your budget, what price point you're comfortable with, what payment you're comfortable with. And really, let's make sure that, we have the financing secured and locked in, because Makeba is going to do everything she has to do to get your home show ready, market ready, and get you a ton of offers. And you're going to be, you're going to have to move because she's going to sell the house. So we want to make sure that we lock in your financing as soon as possible and go through all that process, so that that's one less thing off your plate. Because once you go under contract, whether it's to buy or sell, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's going to be a lot of things requested and a lot of information and documents. And, you may be trying to contact your HOA and you never talked to them for the 10 years you lived there, and now you don't know who to call. And we're like, well, we can't close without, getting the HOA involved. And so there's a lot of things that come up. So we want to just, essentially remove any of the, do as much work as we can on the front end and just really have you prepared and comfortable with your next move. And I know we're short on time, so, I'll talk a little bit more later, but, that's my quick advice for right now.
Thank you. We appreciate you, definitely. So what Antoine is speaking about, which I did not mention, would be a contingency. So when you are purchasing a home, but you need to sell your home to purchase the home, then we would be putting in a contingency with your offer, letting the seller of the home that you want to buy know that you wouldn't be able to purchase their home now until we are able to sell your home. And that's done on the same day, the selling and the closing. That's like a seamless process at this point, and has been for several years, for you to sell your house at 9 a.m. and buy your next house at 9:01. Not that quickly, but definitely 10 a.m. you are buying your next house. So and that's where having the relationship with a real estate professional that is able to get those timelines seamless, and the relationships that, we have as real estate professionals with our partners to be able to make things make sense for our clients. And so what I just explained to you was the traditional way to sell your home. So as is also an option. As is means you're not doing anything to your house. You're not improving it. You're not upgrading, updating. You're just packing up your things and moving. You're able to close within 15 to 45 days. You're able to pick your closing date You know what the amount is for you to be able to choose to decide, beforehand. I can come in, we can evaluate and see if as is makes sense to you. If it does, then we go ahead and accept the offer for the buyer that is going to purchase it as is. If we determine that you want to go ahead and do some upgrades to your home, there are partners that I have in my arsenal who can come in and do the upgrades, and you don't pay for those updates, upgrades, renovations until closing. So there are options. And again, this is just a brief overview of what the process looks like. When we sit down and have our one-on-one personalized conversation about your process and what it is that you need to do to get ready to move, there's legal documents involved, because in the state of Georgia, and now, because of what happened with the Department of Justice and NAR, a conversation needs to be had to give me permission to negotiate on our behalf, and also for you to know how much it is, how much my professional fee is, and also for you to know that there may be agents who are working for buyers who need your assistance to help purchase your home. So making that make sense to you when it happens, having the conversation beforehand is much better than having it when it happens. So I like to make sure that you are prepared for anything that may happen moving forward. So it is 7:32. If you would like to step away right quick, go grab something to drink, a potty break, whatever you need to do. We are going to take a brief intermission. I see that there were no questions, and we will begin the buying part of our process in about 3 minutes. All right, all right. Beverly, Joy, Max, put something in the chat that you feel like you just learned in that 22.5 minute presentation that Antoine just shared. I'm playing my Jeopardy song in my head. Buyers should understand that buyers want to see themselves in the home. Yes, yes, sellers, yes, definitely see themselves in the home. Like put yourself on the other side of, because it's interesting. It's funny when I take my sellers out, the things that they observe in the homes that they're purchasing versus the conversations that we've had moving forward, in the ones that in the house that they're selling. Yes. Okay, Joy, we see you. HOA approvals before closing. Yes, and so something that's very interesting. Sometimes I sit in on the contract committee, the conversations. So if the information is not entered correctly in the HOA disclosure, the seller didn't put the correct information, they have to cover that cost at closing, because typically there's charges to transfer from one individual to another individual. There might be a charge if you're moving into a condominium to be able to shut the elevator down for folks to come. So if you fail to enter that information on the proper documentation, then that could be a cost that the seller incurs at closing. Right, Antoine?
That's correct. And I turned my camera on just to chime in on that because, after we get through this long process, we get what's called the closing disclosure. You probably all have seen that before. And that's the time where me and my buyer goes over, this is how much you need to bring the closing. And we look over the document and we make sure that everything, the numbers match and all the information is understood. And so we have a closing team, and then there's a closing attorney. They work together to finalize the numbers, and then they send it over to us. And I look over it for any, errors or, just make sure that it's accurate. So nonetheless, there's been many times where, our closing team and the attorneys go back and forth, and then a extra $500 or $1,000 pops up on my buyer side, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, where did this come from? And I look, and then I'm like, HOA fees. And then I immediately go back and glance at the contract because, it's our job to estimate how much the buyer needs to closing. And so if we see that on the contract, we're going to put that in the estimate, early in the process, and they'll know about it and it'll be accounted for. But nonetheless, there's been many times where I'm like, hey, no, it's not in the contract. That's the seller. And then we just kick it back to the attorney and, screenshot or, snapshot the part of the contract that says, if this section is not filled out, the seller assumes our responsibility. And that's, it's helpful if you're on the buyer side, the seller side, not so much. So, know your HOA dues, know your transfer fees. If you're thinking about selling, call them immediately, get as much information as you can about any type of transfer fees, any balances that you have outstanding, because all of those will be, verified and covered at closing. Yeah.
Thank you. And Beverly, yes, I do have a team of business partners who can come in and assist with upgrades, also staging. So having that arsenal of people to depend on is very important, if it makes sense. A lot of times I find our eyes are big, like when we go to the buffet and we're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I'm going to do this. And then the company comes back and they like, that's going to be $72,000. And you'd be like, no, let's just pressure wash. But they can come in and transform though. I've used this company and And my client had a rental property, and the people stayed in the house for 5 years. They had 2 big dogs. They pulled up the carpet in the formal dining room, and made that a huge kennel for these big dogs. So you could imagine what it smelled like. They let the tub on the second floor, somehow it got a hole in the fiberglass and it just leaked to down. It was a mess. So we were looking for investors to come purchase it, but she owed like $120,000 on the home, and they were offering her less than $100,000. So that wasn't going to work for her, of course. So then I came in with this company. They did the work necessary, and she was able to walk away with some money. And they do charge you more than if you paid out of pocket for something else. It's just like getting financing for anything. If you pay cash for a car, it's different than if you get the car financed. So it's the same scenario. The fact that you don't have to cover the upfront costs and that you're able to earn or walk away with more money by having them come in is that value to be seen when this happens. Okay, so thank you everyone for your patience. I am appreciating you for being on time, being ready, being patient, and we're getting our flow together. Antoine and I have been a team for several years now, so I'm sure you can. And I'm cracky, jokey person. So sometimes we're gonna have fun, whether we selling your house or purchasing the next one. Life is about experiences and creating memories, and just making sure that we're enjoying the things that we can control. Those things that we can control are very important for us to make sure that we are controlling, because the things we can't control, we can't stress off of them. We can just determine how we will react. So that's very important. Okay, so this is the home buying part of the process. So whether you're selling a home or whether you're transitioning into another home directly, or if you're currently renting and it is time for you to stop paying that 100% interest, because that's what we keep hearing. These interest rates are high. The interest rates are high, but they're really not high. They're high if you think of the fact that the feds had to stimulate the economy during COVID, and they dropped them down so low that, yes, they're higher than that. But before then, these are not high interest rates. So those people that are renting and they're talking about the fact that the interest rates are high, when you're renting, you're paying down the equity for whoever you're paying their mortgage. They also have forced equity because the home typically increases in value 3 to 4% annually. But you don't have any vested interest in this place except that you have shelter over your head. So when people were able to coop that amount of money during COVID because of the remote options to work, it was like amazing, the offers that we were having. $60,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash. I mean, people that needed financing, Antoine, they didn't even have a shot because the folks in New York and California were selling their houses for cash with an astronomical amount of equity in their home. And it was like magic money. I mean, they didn't earn it, really, that extra amount of equity because of what was going on with the economy. Of course, they earned it by paying down their mortgage, but still, it was like magic money. It was like the house became just a daggone money tree. So those people who needed financing, it was hard for them to do. But if they never got their feet wet as buyers in the beginning, then they wouldn't have had that opportunity to be able to pull that equity out and move closer to their family or buy a second home. So by you making the necessary sacrifices to become a homeowner, this is the conversation that we're having now. Antoine, do you have anything to share before I officially begin?
No, you summed it up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. So here we go. Here we go. See, I'm going to sing like that when we out. You never know. I might bust a groove, bust a move, start rapping. I'm the only child, y'all. I like, who knows where I might be. I'm going to be there with you, though, but I might be somewhere else. So step one, preparing your finances. So the thing about saving for anything, typically, the average human are earning the money that they need to take care of those food, clothing, shelter responsibilities. And that's it. We hear paycheck to paycheck, robbing Paul to pay Peter. So that happens. So if it's time for you to save for something, that means that you need to cut out something. If you get your hair done, your nails done, if you like to go eat out, if you're a Starbuckian, those are things that need to be cut out. And the money that you would have used for those rewards, you would use to save now. Some people are going to have to get a side hustle, a second gig, like working, earning income, figuring out what that extra money maker can be for you is going to be something that you're going to definitely need to do temporarily, but you might find out that you like it and continue to do it after the fact. But definitely making those sacrifices to get the money saved, to get your credit repaired if that's something that you need to do, to pay down debt. You know, those are conversations that you'll have with Antoine as he looks and simulates what it is that needs to happen in your personal circumstances to get you ready to purchase your next home. I know you guys hear my dog. It's like cats outside that are nowhere near the house. They're like down the street and around the corner. He's like barking at them. It's like y'all have to hear it for a few more minutes. So getting pre-approved for your mortgage. So Antoine, if you are ready to share your screen, I am going to stop sharing mine so you can let the crowd know what it is that they need to do to get ready to come see you, because you're the man with the master plan and the coins necessary to help them in their next phase of home ownership.
All right, let's do it. So that's my contact information up there. So screenshot it, take a picture. Makeba will be sending this out. But I want to talk a little bit about, I really want to introduce you all to our 100% financing program. And when I talk to you a little bit about, why a buyer or a seller might be interested in that. So, the home buying, selling process, there's two competing interests, right? So you have the buyer that wants to buy this house and they want to spend as little as possible. They want the least amount out of pocket as possible. They want the lowest rate. They want the best deal that they can get in the world. And the seller wants what? They want to sell it for top dollar. They want to sell homes for the most money they can get, walk away with the biggest check that's available. And so when we think about from a buyer's perspective, there's two sets of costs that are associated with your home buying. And that's your down payment as well as your closing costs. Closing costs can be broken down a little bit more, but we'll keep it at, two items for simplicity. All right. So when you think about your down payment, a good way to look at your down payment is really you want to buy a home, you're going to go see a lender. The lender's going to buy the home with you. I say with you because it's a partnership, right? We're going to interview you. We're going to ask you for a whole lot of information to make sure you're somebody that we can extend funding to. And we're going to give you some of the money, right? Some of the money to buy the home, but we're going to ask you to bring some of your own money as well. So traditional loans will say, hey, listen, you want to buy a house for $500,000, great. We're going to give you $490,000, and we want you to bring $10,000 of your own money. Using round numbers, just for simplicity. 96.5% is that's not as sexy and easy as $10,000. So, but the lender, we're going to ask you to bring a down payment, okay? And then the second set of costs. The second expense is going to be your closing costs, and your closing costs are, from a buyer standpoint, people have to get paid to do your loan, right? So you want to do an appraisal, which helps us determine what the value of the property is. That appraisal is going to go out to the house on Monday. But the appraiser wants his payment on Sunday before he goes out and does that appraisal, right? Your home inspector, he's going to go out and do an inspection. He's going to send you a report, but he wants to get paid either before he goes out or before he sends you the report, right? And these are people in the process that they have to get paid regardless of, sometimes every deal doesn't go through, and sometimes you don't make it to the closing table. But these people have performed a service and they want to get paid up front. So those are some of the expenses, along with other closing costs, whether it's the attorney that conducts the closing, whether it's the the county that says, hey, there's transfer taxes when property changes ownership. And so those are two sets of costs that are traditionally required with your home buying. Well, the 100% financing loan, what that does is it allows you, in that same scenario, you're buying a home, let's call it $450,000. Instead of you having to bring that $10,000 of your own money, the lender, we're going to say, hey, you know what? You qualify for our 100% financing. Instead of us telling you to bring 5% or 3.5%, we'll finance the full amount. And really, the biggest challenge that I'll run into, it's for my qualified buyers is, hey, listen, I didn't realize I was going to need so much money to buy this home. I saved some money, I have some retirement, but I didn't think I was going to need 20,000, 30,000, 15,000, whatever the case may be. So being able to offer 100% financing, it essentially cuts your cost in half. We eliminate the down payment, and you really just have to focus on the closing costs. And so it's a great opportunity to attain home ownership, but also save some money in the process. And from a seller standpoint, why is 100% financing maybe attractive? Well, just like the buyer has costs to buy the home, the seller has a few sets of costs as well, right? I think Makeba mentioned earlier some of those professional services, right? So when you hire Makeba to sell your home, she does have some things that she's going to need your assistance with, but also she doesn't work for pro bono, right? She has to get paid, as well as the buyer's agent may need some help, may want some help. And then also there's closing costs for a seller as well. So we talked earlier about HOA dues, right? There's transfer fees that the HOA may have. Also, if you sell your home in October, but let's say your property taxes are due in November, where at closing, we're closing in October, your seller's responsible for 10 months worth of property taxes. They own the home through October. They have to pay taxes, and those have to be collected at the closing. And so the buyer that's buying your home, they may want help with closing costs. They're like, hey, listen, I saw the house, I love it, but I didn't like the tile in the bathroom it's pink. It's from 1970. I know none of your homes look like that, but they're like, hey, it's going to cost me, several $1,000s to get this up to, modern standard. Can you help us out with some closing costs? So you may have some realtor expenses, you may have some tax expenses, and then you may have some closing cost expenses to sell your home. So buyer, instead of digging into your 401k, maybe you come see me and I say, hey, look, we got the down payment covered. We're going to finance 100%. And then you just worry about coming to closing with your closing costs. Same thing on the seller side. Hey, seller, listen, we have this no down payment program that your home is eligible for. So what we'll do is we'll promote it on your listing, and we'll let buyers know that, hey, you can buy my house with no down payment. Go see Antoine. He got your down payment covered. You take care of your closing costs, and then you're saving, a little money on that end. And so let me go to my next slide here, and I'll just share some details on you didn't bring my slide up. Okay, that's right. Let me see. Let me go to the next slide. Boom, boom.
Antoine, send me your presentation, or you can just freeze.
I'm gonna send it. Okay, I got it up there. Y'all,
okay,
you got it. Okay. So our 100% financing is called Affordable Mortgage Program. I call it AMP for short. And here are just some of the qualifications. Now, this program is available in the following states: Alabama, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and Tennessee. So most of the southeastern states, we are able to offer this program. We do 100% financing, up to $484,350. I don't know how they came up with that number, but that's the number. Credit score that we're going to require is really flexible. It's a 636. So on here you see 2 credit scores. The 636 is required for no down payment. If a buyer has a 620 on this program, we'll ask them to bring 3% on the down payment. This is a conventional loan. This loan does not have mortgage insurance, which is another cost savings for potential buyers that'll help, reduce their monthly payment. And then also this program can be used with qualified down payment assistance programs. So for those buyers that might qualify for other down payment assistance, the loan can cover your down payment. And if you are eligible for down payment assistance, that can cover your closing costs. And, we can assist with, and that can pretty much in combination help you come to the closing with, minimal out-of-pocket expenses for closing. And so this program, it's not a first-time home buyer program, meaning you can have owned properties in the past. You can't own property and use this program. So like Makeba mentioned, for my sellers who are upsizing, downsizing, relocating, we've done many same-day closings as well, where you are, because you can't own a property with this program, you sell your home at 10 a.m., you're closing on the home you're buying at 3 p.m., and you're able to take advantage of this program because we can document that the home is sold and you've met all the other requirements. This program is only available for owner occupied. So this is, I'm buying a house to live in as my primary residence. If you're buying a vacation home on the beach, or you want to buy an investment property, this program doesn't work, but we do have programs for that as well. And also it only is available on single unit properties. So you want to buy a townhome, you want to buy a condo, you want to buy a single family residence, this program is available. New construction homes, resale homes. But if you're looking for duplex, triplex, quads, then we'll look at other program options as far as the financing goes. And so those are some of the highlights of the program. Of course, there's a lot more to qualify, but these are the general information that you may want to know to decide, hey, is this something I want to, explore as a potential option to buy my home? Hey, Antoine, does my home that I'm selling, does it qualify? Can we market this to our buyers to let them know that, it makes, anytime you have special financing, it makes that listing a little bit more attractive in terms of being able to help it get sold. If any of you have looked at new construction, tell me a new construction community you didn't see that says, hey, special financing here, come get these special benefits from my lender. So similar concept on the resale with, just making that listing more appealing, in addition to, following all of Makeba's advice about decluttering and getting your home ready for the market. Makeba, I want to be respectful on time. I think we're like 8 o'clock ish. So we're supposed to wrap at 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
As close as possible.
Okay. So listen, so that's my brief introduction of the program. If you have questions, throw it in the chat, but I'll wrap up now so that we can, continue the conversation later if you all have questions, or, throw them in the chat for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Antoine. Antoine has a few other down payment assistance programs as well. Every person has product, they have deemed what their perfect buyer looks like. So depending on what your particular circumstances are, you may fit into one of those programs. So Antoine, if you can put your contact information in the chat, please. And I will also send the email out to everyone. But I'm going to quickly run through the rest of my slides just to share the home buying process. And so this showed up funny, but as we're out looking for homes after Antoine has decided how much home you qualify for, and we've had a conversation about what are your must-haves and the nice things to have and the things that you want. We're going to keep that in mind as we're out looking. You and I are going to come up with a safe word, because I promise you're going to see something that was not on that list, and you're going to want the wraparound screened in porch with the jacuzzi on it, and that was not on your list. But if you must have a 3-car garage, that is something that is going to need a general contractor and some permits to change. So that is something that you must have, and we're going to keep that in mind as we're looking. If you want to garden and there is a yard full of trees, that is not going to be the best space. That home that doesn't have the 3-car garage, or the yard that is full of trees and the sun doesn't shine, that is not the best house for you. Those are things that are going to take a significant amount of resources, money, time, energy, and effort to make that a house that you want, that you must have had when you were looking. So if it is a home that needs a fence, everything is perfect in the house, it's everything that you need, but it needs a fence, that is something that's palatable and you can budget for, to put a fence in your yard. If you want an open concept home and the home that you're looking at does not have that, and you don't have the resources to come in and knock down walls and get permits to make the adjustments to your home, then we're going to have a safe word so I can help pull you back in, or we're going to have another educated conversation about, is this truly what you want or what you must have? And again, once we've determined what that best home is for you, we've put in an offer after we have run the comps to see what makes sense for the houses in the neighborhood, if they're priced perfectly for the condition that they're in or they're not. I bring that information with the offer to let the listing agent know, hey, this house is overpriced, or this house needs some things done to it, so the contingencies that we spoke about, the home inspector coming in, those things are a way to support your vision and a means to support the conversation that we're having with the listing side, because I'm just conversing with the agent and the agent is conversing with me. I'm speaking to you as a buyer or you as a seller, depending on where we are in your journey, and they're speaking to their client. So we are all trying to get to the same space, but making sure that we're properly representing the person who we have our relationship with in regards to this real estate goal that you have. And so we're scheduling the inspections, reviewing the reports, negotiating repairs. Then the appraisal is ordered after the repairs have been negotiated, and we decided, yes, we are going to go ahead and move forward to purchase this home. And while all of these things are happening, there are mortgage questions being answered and documentation being submitted. And Antoine didn't mean to ask you for your pay stubs again and again and again. That's just what is necessary. You did just give it to him, but they need to see it again. They need to make sure that you're still working, because I have had situations where the husband said the wife could quit, and she quit the day of closing. And not Antoine, but a lender partner called, because that's what they can do. You made this amount of money when you began this application process. And so now they didn't get the house because the wife quit her job on the day of closing. If you were allowing somebody to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars from you, you want to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and the lender does the exact same thing. You also are not going to go out and buy a new house full of furniture that you don't own yet. I've heard of those stories. I've also heard of a self-employed individual who, very disciplined, didn't write their taxes off didn't write off all of their write-offs on their taxes for 2 years. They got pre-approved, ready to go, house is under contract, and then they decided to file their taxes and write off So now they're no longer qualified for the home. So when Antoine has a conversation with you about where you are right now, stay there. Don't make any changes. If there's any financial decisions that you need to make, yes, speak to your significant other. But during this time period, you also have a relationship with Antoine as well. So you're going to call him and check with him and see if what it is that you're deciding makes the most sense for what it is that you need to do. There's situations where you have mattress money. So mattress money means some money fell out of the sky. Oops, my microphone. Some money fell out of the sky, but the money needs to be seasoned and sourced. So if we know that we're applying for, you're applying for a loan in 2 months, we would have the discussion with Antoine to see how long the money needs to be seasoned in a bank account. But if we know you hit the lottery at what, I don't know where the money came from. That might have been one of your side hustles that you didn't properly document the coins. But you want to have it sitting in the account prior to the time that you need to provide the documentation to Antoine. So it just looks like it's been sitting in your savings account. That's like one of the very important things to make sure that you have professionals on your side, because we want to help you with your goals. And by using our years of experience and expertise and the situations that we have heard of or been a part of, we're going to get you to your final destination of home ownership, whether you're selling your home or buying another home. So again, in the background, you're continuing to communicate with myself. I'm communicating with the agent. They're communicating with the seller. You're communicating with Antoine. And we're making sure that we're getting everything done so that you can purchase your home. So once we have everything, the home inspector, we negotiated all of those things, the seller has done what it was that they said that we're going to do, I do a final walkthrough with you, and hopefully the listing side did a final walkthrough with their client to make sure that everything is broom swept clean and removed and all the repairs are done. Then we go ahead and go to the attorney's office for the closing. You're going to have wired your funds prior to. You also would have seen your estimate of closing costs before you go to closing, so we can make sure that everything is where it needs to be in regards to funds, so that you know how much money to send to closing. And then we get to go to the closing table, and you get your keys, and you're going to make sure that you look good, because I'm always going to, unless my hair is up in a bun or something, my hair looking crazy. But we're going to make sure that we look nice, because that is another phenomenal memory and milestone to have, is to purchase your own home. So, that is the end of our presentation. Again, I am going to make sure to reach out to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming to be a part of this seller seminar in the beginning, home buyer seminar on the back end of our conversation. Please continue to use this as a resource. We want to help plan for your future goals and get you to where it is that you want to be in the shortest amount of time with the most amount of money in your pocket as possible. Antoine, would you like to say anything before we close out?
I would just like to say, hey, thanks for joining this evening. Yes, if you're selling your home, use my money. If you're trying to buy a home, use my money. There are a ton of programs, as Makeba mentioned. I just touched on one, because if I try to tell you about all of them, well, we'd be here till tomorrow. So reach out to me if you have any questions about anything that's covered, or any lending questions, credit, all things finance. Shoot me an email. I think I got an email from I think Max sent me an email. So Max, I sent you a reply coming back to you. So yeah, just feel free to reach out. Utilize professionals like Makeba and myself that, we pretty much we live this. So we've seen a whole lot of unique situations. She just mentioned quitting the job. We will check your credit and your income up until the moment you get the keys from that table. And I just had somebody, after doing a whole lot of stretching and pulling and making things happen, and she did some things that took us from a clear to close to call me next year. So that's very critical and important. But we're glad to help. We're glad to advise you and partner with you on this journey to sell your home, to buy your next property. and we try to make it a little fun and try to make some. It's very exciting. It's very stressful. As much of the stress as we can relieve, we will try to, and some of it we just gotta go through it. So thanks for your time this evening.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Kimberly, I see that you have a question. Filing taxes can affect buying a house. Of course, that is how you document how much you earn. You got time for this, Antoine?
Yeah. Listen, I'm here for questions. So if y'all got questions, I can hang out for a little while. Beverly want to use my money. Beverly, come get it, please. I don't need it. You know, I can't use it personally anyway, but I'm trying to give it all away. But great question. Filing taxes can affect buying a house. It is a maybe. Okay. So if you are a W-2 borrower, I work for a company that I don't own, and it's not my parents' company. It's not my family company. I work for, Synovus Bank. They're a bank. Standard loans, if, we can just verify employment, we can verify W-2 income information, and tax returns are not required on just a regular loan. Now, if you're saying, hey, Antoine, I want down payment assistance, I want 100% finance, and I want to do some special lending, most of those programs require tax returns because a lot of them have income limits and restrictions, etc. So if you are a W-2 person, you hadn't filed a couple years, but you say, hey, I got my down payment ready. I got, I have the money I need. I'm not really looking to do down payment assistance or anything of that nature. We can get you an FHA loan with W-2 income. We can get you a conventional loan, VA loan with W-2 income. But if you are seeking special financing programs, then more than likely you'll need them. If you're self-employed, most, all of the traditional financing will require tax returns. If you're a contractor where you're 1099, most of the traditional financing loans will require, filing taxes. And I say traditional loans because there are some special loans out there that are available for self-employed people who may have not filed taxes. But if you're looking to do some of the traditional loans and get the best rates and the lowest down payments, and you're self-employed or 1099, then we definitely are going to ask you for, most recent 2 years tax returns are typically standard. So hopefully that answered the question. That was a long-winded response, but
that was everything that she needed, Kimberly. Yes, thank you. Thank you for connecting, everybody. Let me put my information in here as well. So I want to let you know that Antoine and I will be here the third Thursday of the month for the next 2 months, sharing this information. Our goal is to help at least 200 more families this year than we did last year, and we need help from people like you, because we don't know the people that having conversations with others that specifically that we don't have access to. We're leaning on you to be our support system, and also the support system for the people in your lives who need to stop renting. Who need to move out of their homes. We have people whose family members can no longer navigate stairs, or I have a client who has back issues. They're combining household. The multi-generational living is something that is happening. And I love to see the several generations of people in the homes when we go to them. So if that's something that you need, or someone that needs, please reach out to us. And we want to continue to be a resource. So thank you so much. I appreciate everybody for taking time today. And again, I will send everybody Antoine's information. For those of you who I don't have your email address or phone number, please capture our info. And we want to assist you in your home buying goals. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you all. Antoine, you're muted.
I'm just sitting here talking to myself. No, I was saying, Kimberly, if you see, if you scroll up in the chat, my contact information is there. But also, if you see my name listed on my picture there, that's my website. So you can grab my contact information from my link, or just scroll up in the chat. I'm going to copy it and I was trying to see how I can copy it and paste it right back to you. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So I'm replying. I didn't want you to end the session before I replied. Let me see.
Perfect. And some of you did tune in without connecting officially, by signing up for Eventbrite. That's why we broadcasted in all of these wonderful places. We were multi-broadcast virgins. How did we do, Antoine? Did we do good?
Listen, you did a great job. Look, you got the personality for presentation, so you present well, you speak well, you make it fun, So yeah, great job. Yeah.
Good. All right. See, I was gonna put us on Instagrammy too, but we had some stuff going on in the back. But the next time we're gonna be on Instagrammy too.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We look forward to helping you with your real estate goals, and see you at the closing table. And yes, Beverly, Sunday we speak, and then you got Antoine's number, so he's gonna get us ready so we can get you to your next space in life. Her and her family. All right, let me get some of this little raggedy music that's available to me, since Antoine didn't give me one of his tracks for me to play for y'all on the way out.
I thought you said you had bars. If you want to take us out with some bars,
I'm gonna leave. My bars ain't unedited. My bars are raw.
Okay. Next time, radio version
next time. All right, y'all.